There was no, oh my God. Oh my God. The only thing, I swear to God, I listened to 3.5 seconds of a dumb ape speak and I become the #1 Rachel Maddow enjoyer. She did not do that. That is insane. She called her the night of to concede. She literally, there was no violent refusal of a lack of normal transfer of power. There was never a moment where the liberals were like, no, the election is not real. It didn't happen. She did not call for a riot. She did not set up a false slate of electors. She did not hit up Joe Biden, who was the vice president at the time, to try and stop the vote certification process from taking place and then pull together a fucking riot. None of those things happened. None of those things happened. Why? Why are you saying that? That is insane. None of those things happened at all.
She called you an illegitimate president, and she said that Russia put you in place.
Even though she conceded.
Yes.
You know, she conceded the night of the election because she was beaten.
Yes, and it was a thing that was...
Wait. Did Donald Trump just fucking fact check Joe Rogan? Wait. What the fuck?
It's pretty common for people, especially Democrats, to deny the elections. There's been many of them. The Bush administration,
oh my God. The Bush administration, in the first election that took place, they literally stole the election. Like, they literally did the OG January 6th, the Brooks Brothers riot, where they stopped the recount through physical violence and intimidation. Some of the people that were involved in the Brooks Brothers riot ended up becoming Supreme Court justices. That's crazy. That is a crazy comparison. And even then, Al Gore fucking conceded like the bitch that he is. What the fuck are you saying? What is going on here?
Oh, the dangling chads, all that stuff.
Well, look at these guys in Congress, all these sleaze.
Dangling chads? No, it was the hanging chad and butterfly ballots, which was the reason why there was an inconsistency, a very clear inconsistency. Like, what was it? Like a very Jewish neighborhood voting for an overt anti-Semitic white supremacist all of a sudden. Like, it was just a incredibly unexpected outcome. And it wasn't because people were fucking, Buchanan. It wasn't because of the, it was not because there were a group of people that had like a change of heart or some shit. It was directly a consequence of the two things that I just mentioned. And not only that, but also, once again, Jeb Bush, George W. Bush's brother, clear conflict of interest, was the governor at the time. And they halted this process to the best of their ability, took it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court also held on to it. And while the recount process was occurring, they just straight up, through physical intimidation, stopped the recount from occurring. Yeah. I don't know why the Bush v. Gore isn't talked about more with regards to stolen elections. The Supreme Court voted along partisan lines 5-4 in favor of Bush, and the governor of Florida was literally George W. Bush's brother. You say that Jewish neighborhoods voting for someone openly anti-Semitic is unexpected, as if that's not going on this election in the pockets of people voting for Trump. No, that's very different. The current the current state of American politics is very different than the year 2000. Yeah. The only reason that Trump wasn't able to steal the election is because he was behind in the count. Had he been ahead, they would have stopped the count the same way they did in 2000. Yes.
Bags in Congress that are Democrats, they're still denying 2016. But now they don't so much because, they try and pin it on me. You don't hear them say,
but here's my
they
point.
denied it right up until the end.
My point is this idea of election fraud is a forbidden topic. And you get labeled an election denier. It's like being labeled an anti-vaxxer if you question.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. First of all, oh my God. Oh, he's tying this back to COVID somehow. Dog. America has a fuck ton of issues, but as far as our elections goes, there is not a single shred of evidence to show, to prove, to even suggest that our elections are tampered with and that there is mass spread voter fraud being conducted, okay? This is not real. And it's so not real that every single administration before Bush and certainly after George W. Bush has created independent commissions to try and study the matter, okay? In order to justify Republican, a big plank of like the Republican initiatives used to be vote suppression. And how do you justify vote suppression? By claiming that voter fraud is happening. So in order to justify those claims, Donald Trump, George W. Bush, and independent investigators have looked into, Republican think tanks have looked into, and independent think tanks have looked into voter fraud, the claims of voter fraud. The most comprehensive study conducted on it is from, I believe, either the Heritage Foundation or the American Enterprise Institute. Okay? And that study shows that over the course of like hundreds of millions of votes cast over the course of 30 fucking years, there are like 2,000 instances of voter fraud. Okay? 2,000. That's not enough to change the outcome of a fucking local election if all of the votes cast fraudulently were cast in one singular fucking district, okay? And, by the way, voter fraud is not necessarily a one-party thing. It's not like it's only the fucking Democrats that are doing vote fraud either. There has never been a single fucking case. There's been a shit ton of cases of election fraud, electioneering, multiple different ways of like suppressing the vote. That's legalized at this point. But there has never been serious voter fraud in this country.
Some of the health consequences that people have had from the COVID-19 shots. Oh my God, you're an anti-vaxxer. If you say, and what I say publicly, and I've said this a lot, it's not 0%. So if you ask me, what is the amount of
but you don't
election fraud in this country? Is it 0%? No one thinks it's 0%. I've never met one person, not a super liberal, progressive, far left person or a right-wing conservative. Not one person thinks it's 0%. They think when you have human beings and also you have a lot of weirdness that was going on during the 2020 elections, particularly with mail-in ballots.
And you had legislatures that had to approve, and they...
What are you saying? He's right? No, he's not. No, he's not. He's wrong, and he's saying the wrong thing in a confident manner. He's just stupid. He's wrong and stupid. So in that stupidity, he has this level of confidence and self-assurance that makes other stupid people who don't know what the fuck he's talking about go, oh, I don't know. I think he might be right on this one. Okay? It's fucking stupid. When he says, oh, it's not 0% election fraud, which, by the way, he means voter fraud. That's the real term. Election fraud does happen. It's just mostly Republicans that do it and get caught and then, go to prison for it. But that's besides the point. I'm not going to get into that right now. But in terms of voter fraud, okay, as in a massive number of people that are illegal, okay, that are not allowed to vote under the law, going and secretly voting. Okay? That's voter fraud. That's what the Republicans claim is happening. They say it's Mexicans. They say it's undocumented migrants. They're brown people. They're Latinos. They're coming over the border. And the Democrats are letting them into the country so they can go and illegally vote. Now, that's a fucking idiotic argument. Okay? That's a really idiotic argument because it's like the last thing you want to do is give your fucking data to the government to go out and vote. Like, who the fuck wants to vote, dumbass? Like, who the fuck wants to vote to begin with? And the last thing you want to do as an undocumented citizen is illegally give your information to the government. The statistical relevance of voter fraud is so negligible that you can absolutely confidently consider it 0%. It is so marginal, so unimaginably marginal. It is not even 0.0000001%. It does not matter. It is so statistically irrelevant that you can very confidently say it's zero. Okay?
Didn't approve, and they went out and did it anyway.
Oh my God.
And you had
this guy's saying it's not zero. Gaia, place. Place, baby. Place, baby. Get back to your bed, Gaia. Place. That's right. Isn't she the best?
ballot. You had old-fashioned ballot screwing. I mean, you had you have people going up and dropping in phony votes. You had unsigned ballots, et cetera, et cetera.
There's certain people that think that they have, and there's the rhetoric is also that you're Hitler, and that in order to stop Hitler, you have to do whatever it takes.
That was okay, yeah.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, you're hearing this now. Kamala compared you to, said your love of Hitler yesterday. Kamala's
a very low IQ person.
Wait, that's awesome. He was just like, no, she's right. I am Adolf Hitler. You know her kind. The low IQ. You know what I'm talking about. Come on. No, she's not wrong. I do like Hitler.
He said your love of Hitler yesterday.
Kamala's a very low IQ person. She's a very low IQ. You know, I'm for taking tests, too. I think...
That's crazy. That's crazy. He's like, you know their kind, She's a black woman, low IQ, violent. She's low IQ. Yes, Hitler, I will not deny it. I will not deny nor confirm. I said I love Adolf. I will not say it. I will also repeat certain things that he has said. And also simultaneously, I will say some racially charged things about a black woman. It's just part of the weave, man. Stop hating on our boy when he's doing the weave. I'm weaving. I'm bobbing.
Anybody that
weaving.
runs for president they should give him tests. And it's not an age thing. It's not based. If you look back on history, 70s and 80s, some of your greatest leaders in the world history, long-time world history, they were in their 70s and their 80s. But I think you should take cognitive tests. I think they say it's unconstitutional. But
That's ridiculous.
I think Kamala should have a test because there's something missing. There's something wrong with her.
Well, I think it's pressure. I think the pressure and the scrutiny, you've been a celebrity for a long time and you understand what this is like. But for someone who's in her late 40s, who becomes the vice president, who runs for president, becomes the vice president, and then all of a sudden the weight of the world is on your shoulders and there's all these people paying attention. A lot of people clam up.
But you either have it or you don't.
Correct.
Look. This is an interview. We've covered a lot of territory, right? And it's fine. I don't care. I want to. I think it's much more interesting. To do an interview with Anderson Cooper.
Did Joe Rogan say Kamala's in her late 40s? She's 60 years old, bro. Yo, that's definitely a point for Kamala, though. Like, actually, that's a bit of a glaze moment from Joe. It is because Joe probably finds her hot.
A crazy softball interview. She took 2 days off and she studied all day long, and then she comes out with a result that was a real embarrassment. That was a really bad interview. She couldn't answer a question, and every question's not answered. I mean, Like, what would you do your first day in office? Okay, I'll build a wall. I won't build a wall. I'll do. There's 100 things you can say. Just say
Right.
anything, right? There's something off with her.
Well, I also
We're dealing,
think
Joe. We're dealing with the smartest people. They hate when I say, when I call President Xi, they said he called President Xi brilliant. Well, he's a brilliant guy. He controls 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. I mean, he's a brilliant guy, whether you like it or not. And they go crazy.
right.
say,
It doesn't mean he's not evil, or it doesn't mean he's not
Yeah, of course not.
dangerous.
But actually, we have evil people in our country.
Yes.
If you have a smart president, he can deal with Russia. He can deal with all of it. Russia would have never gone into Ukraine if I were president.
How would you have stopped it?
Automatic, two things. I told him. I said, Vladimir, you're not going in. I used to talk to him all the time. You're not going in. I can't tell you what I told him because I think it would be inappropriate. But someday he'll tell you. But he would have never gone in. But you know why else he wouldn't have gone in? Oil prices.
I believe him. You're not going in, Vladimir. You're not going in. No. Yeah. Russian despots hate this one weird trick. Don't do it, Vladdy. Vladdy, don't do it. So he would fuck him into not invading? Yeah, he would, yeah. You're not going in, Vladdy Poo. Stop Abdul. Stop Vladimir. That's what I would have done. I would have sent him a photo of his house, a photo of the Kremlin. I would have said, see? Make of this what you will.
Is at $40 a barrel, wouldn't have allowed him, wouldn't have given him the money to prosecute that war, wouldn't have given him the money. I said it with I was with President Xi. I said it was almost the same conversation. With Vladimir, it was Moscow. With President Xi, it was Beijing. It was almost the exact same conversation. I said, don't do it. He would have never done it. The day I left, they flew 28 bombers over the middle of Taiwan. 28 bombers. And it's the apple of his eye, and the same thing with Russia. It's the apple. Ukraine is the apple of his eye. I used to talk to him. I had a very good relationship with him. He wouldn't have done it. He would have never done it. But he also wouldn't have done it because of one of the reasons that...
It was the apple of his eye. Kaya, please.
What happened is, number one, he doesn't respect Biden at all. Not even a little bit. And who the hell would? But he doesn't respect him. But when he saw what happened in Afghanistan, how horribly that was handled, number one, you take the soldiers out last, not first. Okay, that was their big mistake. And we had that thing charted out, and they weren't obeying us. They weren't. Abdul is the head of the Taliban.
Abdul!
Boom, boom. He had to do all these things.
I told him, Abdul, you're not going to take over. Even though I told him you are going to take over inevitably, but you're not going to take over, Abdul.
Some he didn't do. I said, nope, you're not doing. You got to do them all. This guy he immediately took he left the equipment behind, 13 soldiers dead, but he took everybody out. He took his soldiers out before. A child would know. That's where Milley was so stupid. He was such a stupid guy, Milley. Okay, those generals should have all been fired. The people that were involved with Afghanistan should have all been fired. Then they'd be writing books about him, how stupid he was and bad he was. But you take your soldiers out last. I had a big rally and I saw a child.
What do you say to the point I've seen made that Trump is good to have in charge because having the crazy guy with a gun on your side is the only place you want him? Wait, what? What? That analogy makes no sense. First of all, you don't want a crazy guy in your house with a gun, I think. I don't. Maybe you do. And secondly, it's like the argument is like, if we don't let Trump become president, he's going to kill us. He's going to be the crazy guy outside with a gun and he's going to shoot and kill you. That also doesn't make sense. And last but not least, it doesn't matter who sits atop that fucking arsenal, dog. You would want a responsible elder statesman to be in charge of that, which was ironically what Ironically, what do you call it? What Joe Biden claimed he was going to be, which he showed us he wasn't.
In the front row about a year and a half ago, and I called the child up. I said, "Do you mind if I borrow your child?" "Oh, yes, please." And they came up, kids 5 years. I gave them quick details, you know. I said, "We want to get out of this place, and we have this, and we have this, and we have the equipment." I gave them a little thing. I said, "Do you take your soldiers out first or last after everything's done?" "You take them out last, sir." A child would know that. We took our soldiers out first.
What was your
we left,
plan?
And we left Bagram.
Well, not only that, we left billions of dollars worth of equipment and military vehicles that they use for parades now.
This is one of the craziest aspects of like guys who are supposed to understand how this stuff works. It's common practice to leave old equipment because it's significantly cheaper to just like fuck it up and just leave it behind. That's a very common American military practice. The logistics of bringing back all of that old, destroyed equipment to the United States of America is infinitely more costly. Even I fucking know this, and I don't even like the military. It doesn't make any sense. This is not a talking point. Why is it, bro, why is it that even like military veterans act like because Trump says it, they fucking think that this is not the normal way to do it? I just don't get it. Like even fucking dumbass hog vets who are so invested in Donald Trump just, I guess, forget their own lived experience or something. Because Donald Trump said so, he must know better. Like, what the fuck? I actually don't understand it at all.
The best equipment, to embarrass us, the best equipment in the world.
The Taliban parade where they've got tanks rolling down the streets and Blackhawks flying is the craziest thing I've ever seen. The fact that we left all that stuff there.
The best equipment in the world behind.
What would you have done differently?
Well, number one, we would have taken it out. Just so you
Come on, you're not this much of an idiot. It's not rusty old equipment. It's modern equipment, and they can move that shit to a neighboring country. They don't have to lug it back to the USA. Dog, I am describing the way that normal military practice works in the United States of America. You're wrong. They of course don't leave like the best new technology behind. They do fly that back. But what I'm describing is standard operating practice. It is just how it works. Okay? The Humvees that were left behind were supposed to be the Afghan army and their Humvees. Like they're not, what do you mean? Or standard operating procedure, sorry, not practice. Standard operating procedure. I don't think a lot of people understand, like, the American military is very fucking expensive and very destructive on the planet. And that is when they're not bombing. Even when they're not bombing areas, they're still very destructive. You definitely can admit they didn't operate with a plan. They fucked that up. Dude, I'm sorry. You are such a fucking stupid person if you think that the Defense Department was like, oopsie, we left behind valuable munitions and equipment in Afghanistan. One, this withdrawal was Donald Trump's plan. Joe Biden executed it. He demonstrated political courage to execute the plan. Okay, to actually do a withdrawal from Afghanistan. Every single conflict that the United States of America is engaged in overseas, they always leave behind older military equipment, either for the domestic forces that they've trained or directly leave behind discarded military equipment. Why do they do this? Because that military equipment oftentimes needs technical prowess to operate and requires constant maintenance. And those parts are inaccessible. So the idea is instead of lugging all this old surplus shit back and trying to fix it and then, I don't know, reintegrate it into the military, since we already have a steady flow of new weapons that we're building on a regular basis, shouts out to the military industrial complex, we just leave this shit behind. The idea that you were like supposed to take it out of Afghanistan and send it somewhere else is a logistical nightmare that the Defense Department does not want to engage in. This is silly. They literally left people behind, and yes, it was originally botched by Trump. I agree, but due to that, the Dems overreacted and pulled out too abruptly. What do you mean? What are you talking about? This was not fucking botched by the Democratic Party nor the Department of Defense under Democratic leadership. It's not Joe Biden also making these decisions ultimately. In terms of the logistics, it's a 20-year occupation with a litany of different complications and many fuck-ups. Okay? Having said that, it's not like Biden was like, pull out now, Jack. And then they were like, oh, no, but we have our stuff. What do you mean? Like, but we just left behind all this like cool shit. Like, we need to take it out. And Joe was like, no, I said, give it to the Taliban. Pull out now. Give it to the Taliban. It's not haha felt like that. Just think critically, please. The American military employs hundreds of thousands of people that are specifically working on shit like this. There is a chain of command. Just because Joe Biden is sitting on top of it doesn't mean that he just gets to go, all right. Yeah. He called up the CENTCOM commander and he was like, he called up the CENTCOM commander and the CENTCOM commander was like, listen, Mr. President, I know you're the commander in chief, but we have an arsenal here that would be really dangerous if the Taliban got their hands on it. They're making real quick advances, much faster than we originally thought. The Afghan military is falling apart. And Joe was like, pull out now. I don't care. I love the Taliban. Have you seen those boys on roller skates? I want them to have the best gear. And the CENTCOM commander was like, all right, sir, we're doing it.
Go back a little bit further. I had a couple of conversations with Abdul. And from the time I had those conversations, because they were shooting our soldiers, with the sniper stuff, they were shooting a lot of them. They were shooting a lot with Obama, much less with me, but they were shooting them. And I said, get this guy on the phone. The press went nuts when they heard this. I had a great conversation with him. It was a tough conversation. 18 months later, there wasn't one soldier that was ever shot at. And even Biden admitted it in a moment of stupidity because he shouldn't have admitted his people.
67 people died in Afghanistan when Donald Trump was in Afghanistan and didn't pull out. 13 people were shot at and killed. 13 of our best soldiers, but 13 nonetheless. When Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, I feel like numbers on the board, Donald Trump worse overall. Again, another fact that for some weird reason Democrats don't mention whenever these idiots fucking bring this shit up, which I guess it's better not to even talk about this because the reality of the matter is it's a stupid thing that absolutely zero people care about. I'm sorry, you will never, ever in a million years convince me that there is even one fucking voter, and that is included but not limited to the immediate family members of the 13 veterans, 13 of our best soldiers that died in Afghanistan, that are voting for Donald Trump just for that reason. Okay? It is not something that any American cares about when they're going into the fucking voting booth. Okay? It's not. It's not. Except for me, I'm voting because Joe Biden did that. That's why I'm writing in Biden.
Went nuts. He said, yeah, well, I will admit, no soldier. We didn't have a soldier killed in 18 months in Afghanistan. Not one soldier was killed because he understood what was going to happen if that happened. I didn't have one so. Then when I left, after having gotten more votes than any sitting president in the history of the country and much more votes than I got in 2016, when I left, they started shooting our soldiers. But more importantly, what they did is they did that whole thing with, leaving. He shouldn't have left. Number one, should have left from Bagram, because Bagram's this massive base. It's got tremendous acreage around it, tremendous. It's a very big, it was built many years ago. And part of the reason you wouldn't have taken that is because it goes to China. 1 hour from where China makes its nuclear missiles, you should have never left Bagram. Number one, they should have left from Bagram. They should have left last. They should have got, we have Americans that are still there. They should have taken all their equipment out. Everything, every plane, every screw should have been taken out, every tent. And I said that's when I realized that Millie was a dummy. I said, we're leaving, but I want to get everything out. Sir, it's cheaper to leave it. I said, what do you mean
cheaper to leave it?
Yeah, he said it's cheaper to leave it. That was
cheaper.
Cheaper. He said it's cheaper. Sir.
Not more dangerous.
He just said cheaper. I said, I want every plane. I want every tank. I want the goggles. They have night goggles. They have all this stuff that these guys now have. He said, sir, it's cheaper to get out and leave it. I said, so you think it's cheaper to leave a $150 million brand new airplane in there than it is to fly it out with a tank of jet fuel and put it in Pakistan or just fly it directly back?
Oh, so everybody understands what I was just saying. It's just Trump disagrees with it. So I was right. It's crazy. I'm a combat veteran. I was deployed to Afghanistan. Nothing valuable was left there. Everything left there was not valuable, and the cost of moving it outweighed the cost of the equipment, which is likely outdated because the military is expensive. They're fucking cheap. Hassan bin right, Lamau. No, it's kind of crazy that Donald Trump is literally explaining the actual professionals in his military telling him, no, you're fucking stupid in the gentlest ways possible. And Donald Trump is like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong.
It's cheaper to live. I said, this guy's nuts. I'm telling you, he was so stupid. He was so unwise. He was like an unwise
Me, on
man.
the other hand, I'm wise.
And there were a number of them. But I defeated ISIS with the greatest generals. I had a guy who was so great.
Hate to say it, Trump is right, Lamau. U.S. turns $486 million Afghan air fleet into $32,000 of scrap metal. No, that's not what we're talking about. They instead of shipping the fucking planes back, they turned it into scrap metal. The 16 cargo planes it purchased for almost $500 million. But that's from 2014. So it's not like it happened with Donald Trump. And last but not least, this is precisely what I am talking about. The U.S. military's modus operandi is literally to fucking scrap shit instead of flying it back. It's the valuable equipment that is too expensive. This is an article from 2014, for the record, not under Trump, just so you guys understand. Okay. If you're talking about military waste, that's fair. Okay. The military is endlessly wasteful. But the standard practice for the military is to either scrap shit that they think is too costly to fucking fly back, especially because we already have new gear that we have new gear in the military industrial complex that are constantly being made. It's all a fucking grift. But ultimately, Trump's argument that oh, that's stupid. I can't believe you left the equipment behind is idiotic. That's how it works. Okay?
I flew to Iraq, and I met the real generals, not these idiots that we deal with. And we knocked out, I defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate. They said it would take 5 years. I did it in a matter of literally a few weeks. And we hit them hard. And he said, sir, we're going to hit them here. We're going to hit them there. We're going to hit them here, there. And I said, this guy's great. I like this guy. I was told it would take 5 years. That's why I went. I said, how could it take 5 years? We have brand new fighters. We have the best planes, the best weapons, the best guns, the best bombs. How could it possibly take that long? And I flew in, left at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody knew I was going. I got on Air Force One and we started flying. And when we reached about half an hour away from Iraq, that was where the airport was, big airport, about a half an hour away, they said, sir, I'm sorry, you'll have to turn off all your lights. Why? We're getting close to our site, our land. I said, you mean we spent $8 trillion or we can't leave the lights? So think of this, 20 years, $8 trillion or we can't leave the lights on in a plane. I said, that's okay, turn the lights on. I'm not going to fight them. That's one thing.
This is because it's too dangerous?
Yeah, too dangerous because they see the light up in the air. They'll shoot at it, you know. So I said, turn the lights off. Then they said, sir, we're going to also pull your shades if that's okay. I said, that's okay. The plane was pitch black, all the lights outside, you know, the blinking, they call them the blinking reds, they were all turned off. And I like to sit with pilots a lot of times, and these guys are specimens. I always say they're better looking than Tom Cruise, okay?
I want to fuck them. I want to fucking suck them. They're so hot. They're so sexy. They're sit on their laps. How are you going to tell me that this man is not asexual, biromantic? Biromantic, asexual. They're so hot and they're better looking than Tom Cruise. They're so sexy. The way they handle the way they handled that plane, the way they steer it, they held the joystick. I'm like, hold my joystick, please.
And they're even taller, like perfect specimens. These guys, like for a fighter, you know, you have some guys that are perfect specimens. These guys, and you know, they picked the best pilots in the Air Force, United States Air Force, to fly Air Force One. And I get up there, and I'm sitting, and I'm feeling my way up. You know, it's up high because it's 747, so you go through the stairs. But I sort of knew my way up. There wasn't a light in the plane. I'm saying, can you imagine? We spent trillions of dollars, and we're trying to fly in blind. But I got into the plane. The cockpit is dark black, little tiny light. You could see the pilot, a perfect-looking human being. His co-pilot, everybody was perfect. They were all like movie stars. You know, it's like I could have cast a movie with these guys, and nobody would believe it because they were too good-looking. So I said, how are we doing, Captain? Sir, we'll be landing in 10 minutes. And I look outside. There's not a light. And I'm saying, you know, I've landed a lot of planes. And you see like little lights at least. There's nothing. It's just pure desert. And I said, okay, Captain, good, but I'm looking. Now you've been in many planes where it has the computer sign saying 1,000 feet. Goes 1,900, 800. It's a computer voice, but it sounds like, but it's an incredible voice. 700. I say, Captain, are we okay? Are we okay, Captain? There's no lights. And I'm looking, you know, normally when you land a plane, because I sit with pilots a lot. I think it's great. I think it's a great profession, everything. It's incredible. They're incredible. These machines are incredible. He said, sir, we're fine. No problem, sir. I said,
I swear, he's turned on, dude. He's horned up. He's literally fucking hornier than Austin. He is like, look at him. He's nutting. Look at his nut face. Oh, these pilots, they're so good. Oh, they got such luscious locks of hair. I want to smell them. I copped a peek one time, trying to make out the outline of their penis.
You know, I'm going, I don't see the lights up there, Captain. Sure, we're okay, you know. So, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit. You know, problem with exaggerating, they'll tell the story. They'll say Trump was a coward. So I'm sitting with him. He goes, 500, and I'm telling you, there wasn't a light on the runway, nothing. And we're going in.
This is giving. This reminds me of the time when he was like sitting on that fire truck and he was going like he has some moments where he's just like he turns into a child. This is childlike wonderment. Okay. He's kid mode right now. It's kind of cute.
Okay, Captain, everything good? Yes, sir. No problem. We'll be down in about 1 minute, sir. And I'm telling you, Joe, there's always a light. There's not a little pin.
There's always a light.
And all of a sudden, psh, and you hear, blah, blah, perfect landing like glass. That's how good. I mean, these guys, between the equipment and it's genius. It's pure. It was so dark, you couldn't see a thing. There was no runway. You wouldn't know where the hell you are. You're in the middle of a desert. And then I got out of the plane. I said, thank you, Captain. That's a great job. And then I got out of the plane, and I'm going down, and I see a general and another general. And I see a staff sergeant, a drill sergeant, and various guys, all central casting. Central casting. They said, sir, would you like to rest? I said, I don't want to rest. I want to figure out what the hell are we doing with ISIS.
I want to fight.
We can't. It's going to take years. No, sir, we can do it very quickly, sir. And anyway, we go into the room. Biden would have taken a nap for 4 days and then left without a meeting. So we go into the room, and they have these guys. I say, how long can you do it? How long? We can do it in a couple of weeks, sir. I said, wait a minute. They told me 5 years. We can do it in, I don't know, he gave me a number like in no time. I said, why haven't you done it? Because the orders came in from Washington, sir, and they would come here and tell us what to do. Don't you challenge us? We're not allowed to do that, sir. That's not the military way. They tell us what to do, and we have to respect them.
So do you think that it was incompetence why they didn't go after ISIS?
I think it's a bad system. When Mattis goes there or when Milley goes there, who's stupid, and they tell these guys that are actually smart what to do, and the guys that are smart are saying, we don't.
How is this meant to convince normies to vote? Like, I can't imagine some Jew watching and going, I really, really want to vote for this guy. When you think about, like, the dumbest person in your friend group, go lower than that. Like, a lot lower. Okay? There is no bottom there. No, they watch this, like I said, and they're like, oh, man, he's so cool. I also want to be on a plane like that and say, Drill Sergeant Marine. I would do the same thing. I'll be like, damn, Mr. Drill Sergeant Marine General, sir. That's what I would say to myself. Like, dudes under the age of 25 have dropped off a fucking cliff. I saw it was like 51% 2020 for Joe Biden. For men under the age of 30 or 25, Joe Biden had 51% support. Now it's at like 29% or something. It's really fucking bad.
Don't like what they're doing, but they're not allowed to sort of counteract. Plus, the guys that went there are arrogant. They're arrogant fools.
Look at the comments. They're all pain eaters from around the world, Lamau. Yeah, these are also the same guys that are falling for crypto rug pulls. These are the same guys that think Andrew Tate is like cool. They're just like responding to shapes and colors, man. That's it. Like the space that we are in, this community is like an island, okay? The space that we're in is a very male-dominated, under the age of 35 space, Twitch in general. And it is infested with the most toxic right-wing fucking politics for the most part. No matter how hard you fucking moderate that shit. And that's it. There's a lot of dudes out there who are just, like I said, responding to fucking shapes and colors. Living their daily lives, And they watch something like this and they think to themselves, well, Kamala Harris is not very charismatic. We agree on that. And they go, who would I rather vote for if I were to even vote? Definitely this guy. The dumbest guy you know is going to listen to Joe Rogan and Donald Trump talk. Okay. And he's going to think like, well, you know, I might get some money if I vote for Donald Trump. That's what everybody told me. The economy is going to be better. And he's going to go out and vote for Donald Trump. And he's going to think Donald Trump is so personable and so normal, as opposed to Kamala Harris, who's so robotic. Also a black woman from California, you know, a lot going against her in that field. And that's it.
Fools are like stupid fools. The way they pulled out of, the way they, as an example, the way they pulled out of Afghanistan with the people falling off the planes.
It's a disgrace.
It was worse than Vietnam with the helicopters falling. It was so bad. There was no reason for it. Anyway, so we knocked them out. And, I mean, we have great military. We have great people, but not the television guys. And I rebuilt the military, and then they gave a chunk of it. Now, I have to tell you, as much as it is, it's a tiny little piece.
I'll be shocked if she won at this point. No, once again, we're in a heavy male-dominated under 35 space. So regardless of what this community's attitude is, like this community in particular, the reason why you have this sense that like Donald Trump is actually cooking is because if you're a man and you're surrounded by other men in our age group, they are definitely way more pro-Trump. The problem is they also don't like the vote that much. Well, I guess the problem for Trump is that they don't like the vote that much. But that's the reason why you think personally in all of your interactions with people, you get this understanding that Trump is doing a lot better than he actually is. What do you mean, Unc? Bitch, I'm 33. I'm still under the 35 demo. Did you get to the part where he rants about a plane he rode on with no lights and hot piles for 20 minutes? Yeah, we just finished it. It's literally, you just caught it on the tail end. It was fantastic. Do you ever get tired of using Trump's exact playbook for avoiding criticism and responsibility? No, I think it's a banger playbook, and I love using that to avoid criticism and responsibility. Thank you. I like that this guy, in his mind, I have so much space. I occupy so much space in his mind that, like, I'm basically Trump. Maybe even more important than Trump.
Believe it or not, we have an unbelievable... I rebuilt the military. I rebuilt our nuclear. And in a way, I hated to redo it, but I got to realize how powerful that nuclear is, Joe. One bomb... Israel is gone, but forget. One bomb could take out the entire East Coast. It's so bad. And I watch these poor fools talking about our oceans will rise 1/8 of an inch over the next 500 years. I mean, we have people, we have countries. Right now you have 5 countries. And don't underestimate if you take a look at North Korea, I was there. I mean, I was with Kim Jong. I had a great I got along great with him. You know, the press says he got along great. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. Obama thought we were going to go to war with North Korea. When I met with Obama just prior to the takeover, you know, you meet, you have a sort of a ceremonial meeting. But it lasted a long time, a lot longer than it was supposed to last. I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea. By the time I finished, we had no problem with North Korea. We were really, it was a little tough at the beginning, remember? Mm-hmm. He said, I have a red button on my desk. I said, I have a red button also, but mine's bigger than yours and mine works.
I liked how you called him Little Rocket Man.
I said, yeah.
There you go. If you want to understand the mentality of a lot of American voters, especially young men, what Joe Rogan right there did, it demonstrates everything. I like what he said. He's a little rocket man. That ruled. I'm voting for you, sir. Like, I thought that was funny, too. But I don't think that would motivate me. Like, I don't think that should motivate anyone, as a matter of fact, to go out and vote for him. But that's it. That's like, for a lot of guys, they're just like, yeah, that was sick. Shut up, you eat shitting I can't wait to enslave liberals when Trump wins. Shut up, you shit-eating Arab. What is going on right now? You okay, dude? JK. Okay, good one, man. You know when you say stuff like that, you get a sidewide ban, right?
Little Rocket. I said, Little Rocket, man, you're going to burn in hell. And it was a rough, so rough that people were worried. This is crazy. And then one day I got a call, sort of like a fight. I got a call. You know, you ever see that pounding, and then all of a sudden.
The left villainize men and then act surprised they vote for Trump. Man, shut the fuck up. You're such a bitch. Okay? No, this is such bitch-made ass bullshit. First of all, I'm a man, dumbass. Okay? I'm a man too. All right? The idea that like, men are being vilified, that's why I'm such a fucking ginormous pussy that I just decided that I'm going to change my entire worldview. Like, I hate this shit. I hate it so much. Be a fucking man, okay? Stop being a goddamn bitch. Oh, people were mean to me. People were mean to me. First of all, half the time when people are criticizing something like toxic masculinity, you don't have to subscribe to that. You don't have to be like, that's me. They're shitting on me. You can maybe look at it and then decide that there's valid criticisms there. And if you recognize some of your own behavior in what they're criticizing, maybe change it. I hate this shit. Anyway.
But I got a call, and it was from him, meaning his people.
Nah, he's right. Is the English teacher vibes y'all give off? What? English teacher vibes? What English teacher vibe? What English teachers told you to stop being a fucking bitch? You broke this chatter about crypto. They were previously subscribed for 14 months. Wait, this is a crypto lever? Trump 2024? Oh my God, not men. Spam M word. Whining about NFT being a scam instead of making filthy money, Lamau. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is a unique one. In the where are they now category, this is one of my favorite ones. Respect, chatter. I hope your portfolio is doing fantastic. Multi-millionaire streamer telling audience NFTs are a scam. Cars are a depreciating asset, Lamau. Wait 5 years, chat. See you then. Y'all are late. Sell it after you screenshot. You can't, Lamau. Knowing nothing about crypto but still forming opinions, Lamau. Sounds like chat. How am I coping, Lamau? Keep thinking crypto is a scam. See you in 5 to 10 years. It didn't even take 5 to 10 years, bro. What happened? Isn't branding ivermectin a horse dewormer, a form of misinformation when it has been used as humans for decades safely? Not saying it's good for COVID. Yo, how's that fucking crypto punk you're holding, dude? Are you filthy rich off crypto? What happened? Why is this guy not responding? How are your apes doing, big dog? The funniest part is if he had listened to me, he wouldn't be in a worse financial situation overall. Okay? Because that's what I was warning my fan base about. What I was warning my fan base about at the time was don't get into this crypto shit. It's fucking nonsense. It is so stupid. Please do not get scammed. And this guy was like, nah, dog, I'm going to get scammed and there's nothing you can do about it, you fucking stupid idiot. Shroud is currently playing a crypto game right now. Why aren't my messages showing up? Okay. Are you actually telling me that NFTs are not a scam because Shroud is playing a crypto game? Is that what you're saying? I think it's pretty funny because I was just talking about how like there's a lot of dumbasses out there who are pro-Trump who, think about all the dumb people that get duped into crypto schemes. Like, think about all the dumb people that get duped into crypto schemes. Those guys are all voting for Trump. And this guy just proved that. Like, right there. I couldn't have written this. I don't think you understand crypto and NFTs. Stick to being a fake socialist, you dumbass. Lol. Good one, dude. To be fair, NFTs are a scam, but projects like Chainlink are working with the IMF, Swift, JP Morgan to bring up real assets in the blockchain. Yeah. It's great. Is there more from this guy? I want to hear more from this guy. They are not inherently a scam. So how's your NFT portfolio doing? If they weren't a scam. How's your NFT portfolio doing? You got the podium. You making billions now? The fuck are you doing? Shroud isn't live. Did Chatter fall for a fake crypto Shroud stream? Oh my gosh, Shroud is not even live? Wait, no way. Shroud is probably playing COD right now. It just came out. There's no fucking way. That Chatter is really lost in the sauce. He's not responding about the questions directed at his current NFT portfolio.
They wanted to meet. They wouldn't meet Obama. He tried to meet. They wouldn't even talk to him about it. And I think he expected to go to war. I actually do. I believe he expected to go. And we checked their nuclear stockpile. It is substantial. I mean, I said, "Do you do anything?" I got to know him very well. I got to know him better than anybody. And I said, "Do you ever do anything else? Why don't you go take it easy and relax? Go to the beach. You have beautiful beach, nice beachfront property." Kiddingly. I said,
Right.
"You're always building nuclear. Just relax. You don't have to do it. Let's build some condos on your shoreline. They actually have gorgeous stuff." And he said, "I just have to do it because I need it for my safety," etc. I got to know him very well. We had no problem with him. If you have a smart problem, if you have really the right president, a smart president, you're not going to have a problem. And I say it to people. We have a bigger problem, in my opinion, with the enemy from within. And it drives them crazy when I use that term. But we have an enemy from within. We have people that are really bad people that I really think want to make this country unsuccessful. When you look at what's happening at our border, Joe, when you have people coming in that when other countries are allowed to empty their prisons into our country with murderers, we had 13,099 murderers dropped in our country over the last 3 years.
And 15,000 rapists convicted.
Rapists?
What?
Yeah.
Drug dealers?
Dude. I can't. Okay. Dude. Nah, I can't finish this for now. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm an hour and 12 minutes into the Rogan Trump interview. Is by far the worst single major political candidate I've ever seen in my life. Embarrassing isn't a strong enough word. I'm in awe of how horribly stupid it is. Here was Joe Rogan, by the way. here's what he had said previously about interviewing Donald Trump, which is, I think, an interesting moment of self-reflection. And then we'll get to something even scarier than a potential for a second Trump presidency. This time, we'll be talking about scary games. So